Well, Joe, glad to see you.
Oh, you sugar-tongued old liar. You're scared half out of your shoes. Why?
Why should I be scared, Joe?
You tell me. What did you and the public defender have to chat about?
Well, as a matter of fact, we were talking about the mission. You see, it's 3 days before Christmas, and we always try to give the congregation a turkey dinner. Only this year, we're suddenly deficient in turkeys.
Too bad. What's that got to do with Matthews?
Mr. Matthews is a man of compassion. He offered to donate a turkey. As a matter of fact, maybe you'd like to do the same thing.
Me?
Yes. You're one of the few men down here who always seems to have a little money.
If I do, I keep it.
Well, then I guess a few of our congregation will have to have a turkey dinner of beans and soup. It's too bad. If only...
Only what?
If only Mr. Corley hadn't been hurt in that holdup. You see, he always donated several turkeys.
And put the bite on Doug Martin. He's supposed to have Corley's money.
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
Regarding Mr. Corley's money, there are several people down here, Joe, whom the police wouldn't think was above suspicion, including yourself.
Not me. When it happened, I was with a lady.
What lady?
That's none of your business.
I'm sorry, Joe. And now, if you don't mind, there's still a matter of those turkeys.
Sure, you can go. Socrates. On second thought, put me down for a turkey. But stay away from cops and lawyers.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much.
Joe Kelly had mentioned that he had been with a lady that night. Socrates had no doubt who she was.
We're closed to customers, and I don't give handouts.
Marcy, my dear, my visit has to deal with something much more important than that.
Come on. What do you want?
A very wonderful author named William Congreve once made a very sage statement. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
What are you talking about?
To put it in terms of Jeremy Street, Marcy, I think you gave Doug Martin a raw deal.
Get out.
A young man much too good for you told you he was leaving town. It wounded your affection, to say nothing of your pride. So all you could think of was getting even.
Ah, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about.
Doug told me everything that happened that night, that he was here with you.
Doug's lying. I'd kicked him out of my life. I was sick of him.
That's very amusing. The only decent thing that ever happened to you, and you wanted to get rid of it. But you didn't, Marcy. You're lying.
I'm going to open that door once more, and if you don't walk out, I'm going to yell cop good and loud.
Very well. But if you do, remember, perjury is a very serious offense, especially when used to hide a criminal.
You're an old man, and one of these days you're going to drop dead. Don't rush it.
Maybe you're right, Margie. I'm sorry if I made you nervous. Good night.
Joe, I got to see you.
You'll be over tomorrow.
No, right away. About a guy I want to drop dead.
Meanwhile, Socrates knew Marcy's threat against his life was not an idle one, but he was determined to help Doug Martin. Charles, or Dummy as he was called on the street, also went in search of information. Born without the power of speech, his sense of hearing was well developed. Even Joe Kelly's boys were aware of that.
Charles! Oh, Charles, are you all right?
He's all right, except for a couple of cracked ribs. He wouldn't have had that if Bruce hadn't been drinking. Bruce shouldn't drink. He's not responsible when he does.
I hope you're satisfied beating up a little man who can't talk.
Can't talk, maybe, but he's got ears. Big, long ears. If I catch him again trying to listen in, I'll give him a heap more.
Why was the dummy listening?
When a man can't talk, he has little choice but to listen.
Then give him some advice. People on Jeremy Street get nervous easy. Tell him to stick to the mission. It might save his life. Oh, that advice might not look bad on you.
Mr. Matthews, I thought I told you to stay away from the street. What are you trying to do?
I understand you're planning a showdown with Joe Kelly.
Not with Joe Kelly. One of his big hoodlums. He's non-compos mentis. But in my own way, I hope to gather some information.
I don't like this, Socrates. Joe Kelly is hardly the formula for a long life.
In Greece, when the real Socrates was on trial for his life, he told his friends that the difficulty is not in avoiding death, but unrighteousness. For unrighteousness runs faster than death.
You know, during the past 12 years, we've developed quite a friendship. Don't let a hoodlum break it up. Take care of yourself, will you?
I'll try. If I get any information, I'll contact you through Charles.
Neither one of us can waste any time, Socrates. The man Doug is accused of stabbing died tonight. Now the charge against Doug is murder.
Well, Bruce, I'm glad we bumped into one another. You're an amazing young man. You're very nice looking.
Hey, where's yours?
Mine. Oh, yes. You're very smart sometimes, and other times you're very dumb.
What do you mean, dumb?
You know, you punished Charles rather severely for listening to other people's conversation. Would you like to hear some of the things he heard?
Yeah.
They say the trick was done by one of Joe Kelly's boys. In other words, Bruce, you.
Me?
Yeah. And it's only a question of time before the police will hear about this.
They're nuts.
There's some logic to their reasoning, though. They say the trick was done